Hello students, in today's class we will be discussing the chapter 2 reproduction in plants and animals. Okay, so reproduction in plants and animals. What is reproduction? How do we define reproduction? Okay, you have heard about the term reproduce, okay, making copies. So reproduction is a biological process, okay, biological process in which an organism can give rise to other organisms of its own kind. Okay, so just like we make the Xerox copies, so we are making reproductions of that copy. So this is in biology, we say reproductive process is one in which an organism is giving rise to other organisms of its own kind. So why is it important? It is important to maintain the continuity of species. Okay, continuity of species, that means so that they don't become extinct, new generations need to come. Okay, so this process is seen in all organisms like plants and animals. Okay, and different species do not reproduce in similar ways, so the reproduction can be of different types. So as you would have observed that some animals lay eggs, okay, whereas the others give birth to the young ones directly. Okay, and there are these way different types of reproduction. Let us see what are the different types of reproduction. There are the two types. Okay, one is the asexual reproduction. Okay, asexual reproduction, and other is the sexual reproduction. So what is asexual reproduction? In asexual reproduction only single parent is involved. Okay, and the single parent will give rise to the new organism. So they will be, say, one cell or one organism, and that is going to give rise to, okay, new organism of its own type. Okay, they may be two or they may be more than two also. Okay, how they are dividing, it depends. Okay, so the one parent is involved, the offspring will be the same exact copy of the parent. Okay, so whatever DNA is there here, exactly same DNA will be of the parents. Okay, so new characters are not found in this type. What are the examples of this kind of reproduction? In which animals it is found? It is found in Hydra. It is also found in bacteria. Okay, and it is found in bacteria, some fungi, okay, amoeba. So these organisms, they are capable of what we say asexual reproduction. So in sexual reproduction, what is happening? There are the two parents are involved. Okay, so one will be the female parent, other will be the male parent. Okay, and they will produce the offsprings. Okay, they can produce multiple offsprings, single offspring. Okay, now what is happening? That each of these parents are producing what we say gametes. Okay, Gametes. So what are gametes? Gametes are specialized, they are specialized sex cells. Okay, so what is the importance of these cells? So the male and female gametes, they fuse. Okay, they fuse, and what happens? A new organism is formed. Now the character of this organism is not the exact copy of either the mother or the father. Okay, some new characters will also form. Okay, and these kind of reproduction we see both in the plants as well as in the animals. Okay, so now let us look into the what are the uh, features of the reproduction in plants. Okay, so plants reproduce sexually as well as asexually. So if we look at the asexual method of reproduction in plants, there are the two ways by which it can occur. One is by spore formation, okay, and the other is by vegetative propagation, okay. So spore formation, the reproductive cells are produced by some bacteria, molds and ferns. Okay, the spores they are globular structures. Okay, they are produced where? So if you look at the fern structure, you may find some kind of like this a globular structure, circular spherical structure, in which these spores are formed. So these are known as sporangia. Okay, sporangia. The singular is sporangium. So when the sporangium matures, what happens? It bursts and it will release the spores. Individual spores, they can develop into a separate organism. It can develop. Okay, and these spores, they can be dispersed by wind or water. Okay, so spore formation is an example of asexual reproduction. Vegetative propagation. In vegetative propagation, you may have seen that if you take certain parts of the plant, such as the root, stem, leaf, okay, if you take the vegetative parts of the plant, if you cut it and if you plant it in the soil, they can also capable of forming the new plant. Okay, so a bud which is present in the root, stem or leaf can develop into a new plant. So this vegetative propagation, it takes place by two methods. It can be natural or artificial. So natural, what happens is due to some injury, okay, or some animals are attacking on the plant. So because of those factors also, sometimes this can happen. Okay, what will happen? The vegetative propagation take place in by gardeners or in nursery. Okay, artificial propagation is done to make the many more plants. Okay, so that you don't have to wait for the plant to become, you know, very to grow into a large tree, produce the seeds, and from the seeds you're trying to make a plant. Okay, so we can use the vegetative propagation method. Okay, so the natural vegetative propagation method by roots, let us see some examples in the tuberous roots. Okay, tuberous roots means, the best example is in the potato, sweet potato. Okay, so in Hindi we say shakarkand. So in the time of fasting and so on, people consume this sweet potato. Okay, and the dahlia, guava, okay, mint leaves. So all of these, they have some buds, right? So these buds, when we place it in the soil, they can produce a new plant. Okay, so the roots of the carrot, okay, roots of the carrot, turnip, okay, radish, all of these also have the base at they have a bud at the base of their old stem, okay, that can also produce the new plant. So the vegetative propagation by roots can take place by buds, okay, in these kind of tuberous plants. How about the stem? Okay, the stem is actually a more efficient means of vegetative propagation. Okay, so you can cut the aerial part of the stem. Okay, this is the aerial part which is having the stem, it will have some branches and so on. So you can make different cuttings and each of these can produce a new plant. So the underground stem of certain plants, they bear buds that can help in the vegetative propagation. Okay, so these underground stems are known as rhizomes. Okay, they can also be called as tuber or bulb or corn. Okay, so rhizome, what is a rhizome? Rhizome is a short and swollen underground stem which bears the buds, nodes, internodes and roots. So a new plant can develop from that one. So the best example of the rhizome where we can find in ginger, banana, okay, all of these have the rhizome. Tuber, it is a swollen underground stem containing the stored food and it can have many eyes or nodes in the surface. Okay, this is best example where we find in the potato, okay, potato tubers and so on. So these are some of the examples by which the stem, okay, the stem can be used for the natural propagation. And then we have the corm, okay, C-O-R-M. So what is it? It is a condensed form of the rhizome, okay, which is found vertically in the ground at the base of the plant stem. So where we are seeing these examples, we are seeing in the case of Colocasia, gladiolus. Okay, so these produce the corm. So what is the corm? Corm is nothing but it is a condensed rhizome. Condensed rhizome. Okay, so and where it is found? It is found vertically, formed vertically in the ground at the base of the plant stem. So what is the main function? It stores the food. Okay, and it is surrounded by scale leaves. Okay, some parts of the plant, so whatever we saw here, okay, roots, stem and corm. Let us see the another which is called a runner. Okay, runner. So what is a runner? A runner is nothing but in plants such as a strawberry and grass. So we can see that the plant is almost lying prostrate on the ground. So what is happen? That the horizontal branches, okay, suppose this is a plant, and what happens after growing certain height, that stem will come in contact with the soil, and from here again the roots will form. Okay, so in this way what is happening? The horizontal branches that arise from the base of the stem, they grow parallel to the ground, touching it, and it can form the roots. Okay, where it will form? Wherever the buds are there the roots can form. So this we are seeing mainly in the case of grasses, strawberry. Okay, in these we can see this kind of examples we can see. Okay, let us see one another method of this natural propagation is by the leaves. Okay, some plants produce adventitious buds. Okay, adventitious adventitious buds. Okay, adventitious. So that is these buds at the margin of the leaves. Okay, and these buds grow into small plantlets either when they fall on the ground or when they are still attached to the plant. Okay, so we see mostly in nurseries and in gardening bryophyllum. Okay, bryophyllum. Okay, and begonia. Okay, these plants, they reproduce by the leaves. So if you just pluck few leaves, put it in the soil, then it is capable of producing these new plants. So these are some of the methods we saw today for the natural propagation of the plants. Okay, so in this process what is happening, that natural vegetative propagation, in this vegetative propagation there is no need for the what we say formation of the seeds. Another one method is by the bulb. Okay, so what is a bulb? This is the most famous example in the onion. Okay, so in onion we see that is nothing but the bulb. It is a small disc like stem that is bearing numerous scale leaves. Okay, so you can see that, so it will be like this and there will be many layers, right? These are nothing but the scale leaves. And what do? They store the food material. At the apex of the disc is a apical bud. Okay, so which can grow into the aerial part and it will form the shoot and the flowering part. Okay, whereas the lateral bud is present on the axil of the scale leaves. Okay, and it will and axil of the scale leaves, these buds can produce the new shoots. So when we take the example of onion, garlic, lily, okay, these are some of the examples where we see the bulbs. Okay, so students, in the next class we will look into the artificial vegetative propagation. Okay, so the vegetative artificial vegetative propagation is carried out by in the nurseries. Okay, and it can be used for the making many plants in a short time. Okay, see you in the next class. Thank you.